ladies and gentlemen. Speech. Actually, before I do get stuck into the speech, there's just a couple more greetings that I think we need to get through. One that Lenny didn't read out. Dear Joanne and Graeme, we wish you all the best on this happy day. Sorry we can't be there to enjoy it with you. Thank you so much for looking after us before we departed down under to Australia. Hopefully we can repay you when you come to visit us one day. All the best for the future. Have a drink for us. Lots of love. Charlie, Nisa, Molly, Dylan, Phoebe and Bundy Bevan. There's another one that's, I guess, more for the groom. Graeme, congratulations. Hope you have a great day. Best wishes from Roxanne and Pixie from the Spearmint Rhino Club in Bournemouth. They say, P.S. Which sex position produces the ugliest children? Ask your parents. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is customary on occasions such as this to say a few words about the bridegroom, Graeme. Or Cab, as most of his friends and my mum and dad actually know.
Graeme, Justin, it's Graeme.
Graeme has actually advised me that his mum hates him being called Cab. So a little piece of advice for you all there when speaking to Graeme's mum, although I'm sure most of you were completely unaware of this and have already completely ruined her day. Hey Lenny. Graeme certainly has more than his fair share of words that could describe him. Unfortunately, most of those words would probably be deemed highly inappropriate for a speech such as this, so forgive me if this speech is on the short side.
Battery.
I did take the liberty of asking some people who know Graeme for words that best describe him. Loud, clumsy, argumentative, annoying. Those are some of Joe's suggestions. Descriptions offered by other people included clumsy, loud, annoying, Jack Daniels. Graeme is actually my oldest friend. I calculated that we met some 18 or 19 years ago when Graeme was about 13 and I was a year older. I was amusing myself with a football on the playing field near my house when a knobbly-kneed, scrawny little 4-foot-tall kid appeared, said hello and asked if he wanted a kickabout as he got off his bike. He then proceeded to run rings around me and everyone else that turned up that afternoon. As will become plainly apparent to everyone that knows Graeme, he cannot refuse the lure of a football, ever. I think it's fair to say that Graeme is undoubtedly a gifted footballer. In fact, I think he's probably the most naturally talented footballer that I know. He's arguably very naturally talented at quite a few other things. Naturally talented Stella drinker. Naturally talented JD and Coke drinker. Naturally talented smoker. Naturally talented fruit machine player. One of my personal favourites is Graeme's talent as a late-night snack maker, particularly his improvised cheese and olive recipes. Anyway, it turned out that we both share the love of playing football and also of supporting Liverpool Football Club, which in those days was much more pleasurable, and we became very good friends. I left school and went on to college during the next couple of years, and our social lives left the football fields and went their separate ways for several years. Graeme went on to become quite a talented chef, and our paths met again one evening around the infamous pool house in Witney. Graeme hadn't really changed at all, only now he was a knobbly-kneed, scrawny, 6-foot loud, clumsy man. And our social lives once again became virtually continuous, with me, Graeme and Lenny eventually moving in 10 years ago. The Burwell House era provided some of Graeme's all-time comedy/annoying occurrences, with two in particular firmly etched in my mind. It was whilst we were living in Witney during this era that Graeme spent most of his time working at Norton's Bar and Restaurant. It's alright, mate, this is all in the past. He's a changed man now, honest. It was at Norton's where Graeme honed two of his natural talents. In the afternoon between shifts, he honed his fruit machine playing talent. before returning to work in the evening to hone his drinking talent. His day finished up after work until closing time, spending more time continuing to hone both his fruit machine and drinking talents before making his way home. Graeme continued this daily ritual for several months as the novelty of having our own pad began to wear off, and with Lenny and me becoming increasingly less enthusiastic about the thought of Graeme's homecoming each night. On the night in question, I think Len and I had actually made a point of acknowledging that neither of us were in the mood for an overexcited, boisterously drunk Graeme falling in through the back door and bundling us until we submitted to another drink or game of Mario Kart on the SNES. We decided to have a fairly early night and went to bed a good hour before usual to try and force ourselves to sleep. Inevitably, we heard the clunk of the patio door handle, followed by the slamming of the back door, a cheer to announce his arrival, and the frantic footsteps as he wandered around the house trying to work out where everybody was. As I lay in bed, I heard him pound up the stairs and barge into Lenny's bedroom. I heard a short conversation during which Lenny's voice rose to a full-on shout, which was finally followed by several very loud thuds. And finally the sound of Graeme crashing back onto the landing and Lenny slamming his door behind him. Graeme didn't come into my room that night. The other more widely known classic from that era happened on one of Graeme's rare nights off. Many people decided to go out to a club night at Witney Football Club, and true to form, Graeme spent the evening honing his various drinking talents whilst attempting to hone his other not quite so natural sweet-talking the ladies talent, and what I can only describe as his rave step-dancing talent. At the end of the night, Graeme left the club with a couple of friends and started the long walk home to continue the party. The group decided to take a shortcut and started to walk through one of the fields on the outskirts of Witney. The group proceeded in the highest of drunken spirits and were making good time across the field when all of a sudden they realised that Graeme had suddenly disappeared. They quickly heard cries of distress and started to retrace their steps, whereupon they found Graeme lying 10 feet down a manhole in the middle of a field. Miraculously, Graeme had managed to escape breaking a single bone in his body. He was assisted from the manhole, gingerly made his way home and proceeded to attempt to carry on partying as though nothing had happened. It soon became apparent that Graeme was not unhurt and an ambulance subsequently called for him when he didn't stop bleeding from the huge gash down one side of his body. I believe he still carries the scar today.
I don't care.
These days, having left the kitchen behind, Graeme is reputed to be a naturally talented car salesman. After today, I wonder what other talents may lay undiscovered. Naturally talented husband? Naturally talented son-in-law? Naturally talented father? Whatever you think of Graeme, it's true to say that most people actually have nothing bad to say about him. I'd like to think that most of the people here, and many others who aren't, think of Graeme as a funny, optimistic, fact-of-like, fun-loving person that know that they could always count on him if needed. I consider him a truly great friend, and I don't think I know another man with a bigger heart. Thank you very much, everyone.